What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a review of these Russian Boxer Velcro training gloves. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, so today I have these Russian Boxer custom 12-ounce Velcro training gloves. We'll do a close-up weight and review on. You can see they actually have my channel name right here, C Squared Boxing, on the back of the gloves with the Russian Boxer logo. These are going to be the second gloves I've reviewed of Russian Boxer. The first ones were going to be those black and green lace-ups that I did a review on, which were, I believe, 14 ounces. I decided to go with 12 just because I wanted something a little bit more compact. These are the same gloves as Grant. I know Grant, having a few pairs of those are identical to these gloves. I think they use the same manufacturer, so they tend to run big. So I got these in 12, and these fit like 16-ounce Sawboss Pro Series. So if those of you that are looking like for size comparison, these are definitely comparable to like the Sawboss Pro Series that are 16 ounces because of how big these typically run. Now, if you get these in 16, they're going to be huge. I had a pair of 16-ounce Grants, and they were just massive for my size. And there's so much room inside the hand compartment that you would literally have to put like 2 hand wraps on and extra pieces of foam just so you could fill it in. With these fit me perfectly. So as you can see, these are the Russian Boxer. If you want to order from them, you have to go through their Instagram. I believe they also have their website, but I just shoot them a DM through their Instagram. I decided to go with a pretty classic color scheme, the black, blue, and the white. I didn't want to go too crazy with it. Full leather construction. These are made in Mexico. They do have the welted seams, attached thumb right there, just to kind of show you. So here's the blue and white split thumb, the C Squared Boxing. That's screen printed on the back. I'm not sure if they did that, if Russian Boxer did that, or if there was a manufacturer that put it on there. This is the full wraparound Velcro strap right here with the Russian Boxer. One thing is they laminated this kind of plastic over the tag. So if you're going to use these for sparring, I definitely would tape over that. It says made in Mexico right there with the green, white, and red, the Mexican colors. The full Velcro strap right here. You do have that soft canvas liner, and just kind of show you guys a close-up, just like Grant's, it has this tag on here where it says made in Mexico. So the only thing that's different, it doesn't have that Grant tag on the inside, but you can see it even uses the same exact kind of liner that Grant uses with that soft canvas liner. You can see the white piping, and you do have a nice, maybe about an inch of padding on both sides of the wrist compartment. Ventilated holes on the thumb, and a large size grip bar that has good firmness to it. Just like Grant's, it's super firm. It doesn't really collapse whatsoever. It's definitely more of a stiffer foam that they use on there. And then you can see that. This one does use latex foam. And you can see in here, this is definitely more, I would say, of a puncher's glove. Not as punchy as Reyes. This is a little bit more protective, but you can definitely see that the foam goes in. So if you're looking for something that you really want to feel your knuckles land, but gives you a good amount of protection, these definitely would fit that profile. So you can see there. And just to show you both gloves, how they look next to each other. Again, 12 ounces. Here's the double stitching, ventilated holes on the thumb. You can see the finger compartment right there. Very similar on both. So it looks really good. So let's go ahead and put these on the scale. I'm thinking these are going to be heavier than their advertised weight, just because a lot of times Mexican gloves tend to be heavier than what they're advertised. So let's see if that's true or not. So yeah, these are actually 14.3 ounces. So they're almost two and a half ounces heavier than 12 ounces. So, and these are 14.6. So again, like a lot of Mexican style gloves, they're typically heavier than what they advertise, at least when it comes to the training gloves. And if you do get the Russian Boxer, these definitely run larger as far as just like Grant's basically. So if you get 16-ounce gloves like for your Sawboss or some other gloves that are a little bit more compact, and you get them in 16-ounce in Russian Boxer or Grant, you're going to get some really big gloves. So for me, I always recommend maybe going with a 12-ounce glove unless you have really large hands, or if you're going to use them for sparring, minimum get 14 ounces. So let's go ahead and do the review. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'm going to be doing a review of these Russian Boxer Velcro training gloves. Got mine in 12 ounce. This is an actual custom color scheme that I chose. Decided to go with some pretty basic colors with the black, blue, and the white. Wanted to kind of keep it clean and classy. I did have my C Squared Boxing name printed here on the back of the glove underneath the Russian Boxer logo. Russian Boxer company, obviously based out of Russia, that started selling products a while ago, and I actually did a review on some of their lace-up training gloves, I believe in 14 ounce a while back, and I was really impressed with those gloves. And one thing I noticed when I did get the gloves was that they were pretty much the exact same gloves as my Grant Worldwide gloves. Everything, I mean, the leather they use, the size, the profile, the welted seams, even the kind of foam, the hand position, everything was exactly the same as my custom Grant. So, you know, I kind of came to the conclusion that they're pretty much the same manufacturer. They probably use the same manufacturer as Grant in Mexico. These are handmade in Mexico. The only thing that's different is they just changed the logo. So you're essentially getting yourself a pair of Grant gloves for a fraction of the price, and you can definitely get custom color schemes. So a lot of people, you know, they love Grant gloves. I love Grant. I think they have some really great gloves, but the price point is obviously out of the realm for a lot of people that can't afford to spend $400 on for a pair of boxing gloves. So a lot of time people are looking kind of for an alternative that's similar to it. And I think these Russian boxers do a really fantastic job of filling that gap, because you're essentially getting the same product for a fraction of the price. Now, looking at these gloves, you can see aesthetically, I think they look fantastic. You do have that Russian Boxer logo that's printed. You have my name right down here. On the back, you have the Russian Boxer patch that says made in Mexico. That has a piece of plastic that's laminated over that. If you're gonna use these for sparring, I definitely would tape that over. The sizing of these gloves are definitely larger. So if you do go with 16 ounces, they're gonna be big gloves. I'm about 5'8", about 147 pounds. These 12-ounce gloves fit me like 16-ounce Sabas Pro Series. So if you're looking for a similar size in 16 ounce and you have medium-sized hands, 12-ounce gloves with these type of gloves are going to be about the equivalent to a 16-ounce glove. If you do get a 16 in this, they're going to be much bigger, and you're going to have a lot of room in the hand compartment. 14 and 16, obviously, I would recommend that for people with, you know, bigger people, longer fingers, with bigger hands. Or if you use these for sparring, at minimum, get them in 14 ounces. So if you're gonna use this for all around training and you're not sure what size to get, I would probably go with 14, because obviously you want a little bit larger for sparring, especially if you're using it for bag work, sparring, mitt work. You're pretty much using it for an all around gym glove, then definitely go with the 14. If you're using it primarily just for the bags, like I use with this, bags, mitts, basically everything outside of sparring, then go with 12. You'll get a much more compact, much more fitted feel with the 12, in my opinion, if you do have regular sized hands. So you can see that it has a full length, full wraparound Velcro strap that goes all the way around, full leather construction. And you can see, just like Grant, it has the Velcro on this side, and basically the way it wraps around it, you get all the way around. So it connects right back here, goes right that way, so you flip it around, goes all the way around the back of the glove, and then it attaches to the front, or the palm side of the glove right here. One drawback I found with this is this Velcro ends up kind of eating away at this leather finish right here. So when you're putting this on and taking it off over a period of time, I've noticed that this leather right here, I wish they would have put a piece of cloth or something to protect the leather on this side, so that this Velcro, because this Velcro is pretty rough, and you can feel that right there. So that's one drawback, is that it really kind of scuffs up this leather, and over time that's going to break down. But you know, overall the quality of it is very nice. One other thing I'd like to mention too is, if you do use this version for sparring, how important it is to tape this off, because if this Velcro ends up scraping your opponent, you'll definitely get a big scrape on your skin from this. This stuff is like sandpaper, so keep that in mind as well. But outside of that, you can see that right there. That's just the Velcro strap. The inside is a soft canvas liner. You do have this elastic attachment to kind of keep the palm together. It does say made in Mexico on this tag right here. You do have about an inch. I mean, they put a lot of emphasis on wrist support. You can see you do have about an inch of padding on the inside of the wrist right there, as well as on this side, about an inch of padding all the way up to where the thumb is at. And then on this side, you do have the padding that goes all the way up right here as well. So a good amount of padding on both sides. So the wrist support is definitely there. Larger style grip bar, you can see that has good firmness to it. It doesn't collapse on you. Ventilated holes on the thumb, and they use a latex foam padding. So you can see here, this lends itself more to be more of a feedback glove. You definitely get some good protection, but if you're the type that really likes to feel your punches sink into the bag, you'll definitely love the way that these perform. I really feel that you get the best feedback. Some of the best feedback I felt have been from my Russian boxers and my Grant gloves, because of the kind of latex they use. So You can see that there. Quality of these gloves are almost on point. Now, the only thing I found with these gloves were some of the stitching was a little off on certain areas that I feel like could be improved. The leather quality is top notch. The welted seams looks really good as well. I like how they use that welted seams to kind of reinforce. You can see that the leather has kind of a medium finish to it. It's not super shiny and it's not dull. So it has a nice finish to it. The blue and the white looks really good. Stitching looks good on the thumb where it connects to the thumb connector right there. So the attached thumb looks really good. Even the leather they use on the palm side looks nice. All the leather they tuck into the welted seams on the fingertip looks really good, as well as the stitching right here along the thumb. The logo on the back is nice and symmetrical. It's even on both gloves, so you don't have any issues with that. You know, that's even where it says C-squared boxing. The plastic patch looks good, all stitched in pretty nicely, as well as the oversized piping. You can see it has this white piping that goes all the way around. So the piping looks really good. High quality Velcro, it's really grabby. And the piping looks good on this black part right here. This piping on the thumb. So the piping, leather, stitching looks pretty good overall. The only areas where I found small concern, it would be like right here. You can see kind of the middle part right here where the stitching is at on the split between the white and the blue. You can see a little bit of a, I don't know if that's like the stitching kind of coming loose a little bit, or maybe if I parry the shot and it just kind of scraped there. But that's one little small area to be nitpicky. And then on the actual cuff right here, you can see just, you know, a little bit of fraying right there. But outside of that, that's really the only thing I could find. I mean, you can see some of the stitching on the inside where they stitched the liner could be done a little bit cleaner. But again, those are areas that you really can't see. So just some of the stitching for the liner, I'd say. But no exposed foam, nothing like that. I would say the stitching, if I were to be critiquing anything, would be that on this particular, the opportunity would be the stitching. But the leather looks really good. Foam feels really nice. Everything's nice and symmetrical. So comfort, sliding your hand in here. My favorite thing about these Russian boxers is how they feel. You slide your hand in here, excellent thumb position, nice and parallel with your hand. The piping on the palm isn't too tight, gives you enough breathing room. Excellent wrist support. So you can see that this Velcro strap is about what, 4 inches, 4.5 inch Velcro strap. So you get a lot of support around your wrist right here. And then you do have about 1 inch of padding that comes up on your hand on this side, as well as on the back of your hand. So you get a really nice locked in feel. Thumb is really nice. You can see that it has kind of a tapered cut with the position of your hand inside here, where the finger compartment is nice and deep, and it has a nice piece of felt liner that covers the seam and the stitching. So that felt feels really luxurious on your fingertips, and it doesn't really bother you whatsoever. It feels really nice to be able to have your hand in here. And obviously my favorite thing is how broken in these gloves are. So you can see here with the latex foam, it feels really nice and comfortable. I can open and close my hand with relative ease. Not a lot of resistance there. The inside soft canvas liner feels pretty nice overall. One thing I wish they would have done is maybe put like a softer material, or maybe like a little piece of foam on the back of the glove so that it feels in a little bit more plush. Because I feel like there's a little bit of room right here where my pinky knuckle is at. So when I'm making a fist, I feel like the glove sits like this, rather than it sitting flush on the interior of the glove where you feel like your knuckle is against padding. I feel like there's a little bit of a gap in between my knuckle and the top of the glove. So even with my hand wraps on, you can kind of feel that gap just a little bit. So I wish they would have maybe used some softer feel material, like a softer foam, to fill that in. So when your hand slides into the glove and you make a fist, it just kind of rests against that softer foam. So maybe that's something they can modify in the future, but you can definitely feel a little bit of a gap. It didn't cause me any performance issues. Just one of those things you notice when you're using these gloves and you're hitting the bag with them. But very nicely broken in, good wide finger compartment to make an excellent fist with these. Good contact area right here. So comfort is definitely the best feature of this glove in my opinion. The second best thing about these gloves is how they perform and they protect. These gloves are fantastic on the bag. Some of my favorite gloves in regards to hitting the heavy bag. You get an excellent crack with these. Nice punching surface that's not too rolled over and rounded, so you don't feel like your gloves are kind of glancing off the heavy bag. You make excellent contact, and it uses latex foam, so you get a nice feel of the bag landing against your knuckles. And obviously they're not more protective like some of the more protective gloves that use multi-layer foam or more protective padding like EVA, where you get a little bit more protection or the shock dispersion. But if you're looking for something that you want a little bit more on the feedback side, maybe a little bit of less protection, but you really want to get that satisfying crack and feel, then these definitely would be the gloves for you. Just keep in mind a little bit of extra room in this knuckle area right here. One thing you could do to offset that is maybe get yourself a gel pad or a knuckle pad when you wrap your hands, and that can definitely help fill that in with that. Cost-wise, these gloves, just depending on the currency exchange, also depends on what kind of material you use. If you go with metallics, on average, they're about $180 on up. Again, depends on where you live. I'm here in the States, so it's $180 plus shipping. If you do decide to go with some other custom colors, that might obviously change the price a little bit, might make it go up. But you know, for the price that you pay for a quality and a glove of this caliber, I definitely think it's worth it. For those of you that are, you know, we're looking to get some Grant gloves, just don't want to fork up $400+ for them. Trust me, these gloves are, to me, are the exact same thing for a fraction of the cost. And for me, it's always great to support a business that offers that kind of product for that price. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Russian boxer gloves. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.